Welcome everybody. Namaste. I welcome you all to another session of Stories Behind Temples. And this is day 5, the last temple that we are going to in the Panchabhuta Sthala. So the last one is one of the most interesting, most sacred, and also very secretive temple. What is so secretive about it? That is what we're going to learn today. It's going to be a lot of fun. So this session is going to have some activity-based questions. Okay? Ready for it? And a lot of stories. Okay? Ready for it? Yeah? Okay. So I'm going to keep the chat box open. Now the question to you is, what do you see inside that box? What do you see on your screen? You can chat it through. Chat. Blank, okay? Okay, nothing. Blue box. Is there anything there? Come on. One blue line, okay? Space, okay? Interesting. Any other answers? Either space. Very good. Okay, now the next question, okay? Here is the next question. Now what do you see here? Do you see something here? Okay. Empty chest, box, treasure chest. Okay. Now 3, 2, 1. Now what do you see? Do you see something? Okay, nothing. Blank, emptiness, none. Same blue box, okay. Now what do you see? Yeah, I can see some of your faces change. Now what do you see? Dirty shoe, dirt and shoe, sneakers. Okay. Now what happened? What do you see? What is there? Is there something? Empty, blank. Shoe vanished. Okay. Now what do you see? What is that? Flowers. Bunch of flowers. Okay. And now what do you see? Empty, blank, nothing, empty space. So, right. Why am I doing this experiment with you all? Let me tell you. Okay. So, first you said there was nothing. Then there was a box. Then there came dirty sneakers, right? Dirty shoes. But is the dirt of the shoe anywhere here in this space now? Did the space here get dirty by the dirty shoe? No. And then you saw the flowers, right? The flowers looked lovely, right? They smelled beautiful. Like, they looked such that the fragrance will be so nice. But now, did it change the space after it went? Is there some difference in the space because the flowers came and went? No, the same emptiness. So we might think it is nothing, it is empty, but there is something. There is space. If there is no space, can you be sitting where you're sitting? Yeah. Can you listen to all the words that I'm speaking now? If there is no space, sound will not travel. That is science, correct? So for sound to travel, you need space. For you to keep things, feel things, you need space. For you to see also. For you to hear. For you to smell. Smell also travels in what? In air. For air to go from one place to another, what do you require? Space. So space is such a subtle thing. So you will never ever experience anything without space? Huh? You cannot be if there is no space. But do we pray to space every day? Oh, space, thank you for letting me live in you. Do we pray like that? We pray to maybe earth, sometimes to fire, we take it to our eyes, correct? Sometimes even to Vayu Bhagavan, saying thank you for blowing here and there, thank you for giving the Hanumanji the strength. Those kind of things we pray to Vayu Bhagavan, that is the air, right? Even to water, Ganga Ma, Yamuna Ma, Narmada Ma, at least that way we are praying to water. But are we ever grateful to space? Are we saying, oh space, thank you for holding us. Thank you for holding the air. Thank you for holding the fire, the earth. Everything is in you. Are we thanking space like that? Because we think there is nothing. We cannot touch it. We cannot feel it. We cannot smell it. We cannot hear it. And we cannot see it. So it is not there. So we are thinking it is not there, but it is there. So that space also we do prayer to. And this is the place. We are going to Chidambaram today. And that is where we are praying to Lord Shiva in the form of space. Huh? Interesting, no? Where nobody can even see, even that we are praying to. And space is something which is having no limits and no boundaries. Can you say, oh, this space started here and ended here? You can only say this wall started here and this wall ended here. So wall cannot contain a space. What mummy is cooking in the kitchen, can you smell it here from where you are? Yeah. Sometimes when there is a nice pizza being cooked in some oven, very far away you can still smell it. There will be walls in the middle, but still you can smell it. How? Because it travels in space. And sometimes you'll be far away from a temple and there will be temple bells going on, ding, 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 and you can hear it from here. But there is a wall between you and that temple bell. Still you can hear. So because it travels in space, space has no end, no start, no end. Even between countries, we are now trying to draw some border on the, can you ever divide the sky? Can you say this sky is India sky, that sky is Sri Lanka sky, this sky is China sky? Can you say like that? Very difficult, you cannot say. But somehow people are trying to draw, saying, okay, the sky above this land belongs to that place. Sky above this land belongs to... They are trying to do that, but sky is limitless. Sky is vast. So that is what space is all about. And space is not affected by anything. You bring dirty shoes, you bring hot fire, you bring nice fragrant roses. Space does not change. Space is just there. It is not becoming dirty. It is not becoming nice. Nothing it can become. It is just there supporting us. So that space which supports everything, we are going to say thank you to that space. And we are going to show our gratitude to that space. And that is why our last temple in this Panchabhuta Sthala is the Thillai Nataraja temple in Chidambaram, which is Lord Shiva worshipped as space. So this is a very interesting temple. This has a lot of history to it. There are lots of stories to it. There are many people who have done tapas here. So let us go into all those stories. Okay. So do you remember the others? We visited Kanchipuram first, and then we went to Thiruvannaikaval, then we went to Kalahasti, Thiruvannamalai, and finally we have come to Chidambaram today. So our final destination for this yatra is the Thillai Nataraja temple. So Chidambaram is a very special space, a very special place, right? So let us find out a little more about Chidambaram. Okay, so actually this place was called Thillai Vanam. Vanam means forest. Thillai Vanam is a mangrove forest. How did this mangrove forest turn into a beautiful city of temple? You know, big temple city it is. The whole city or the whole town is functioning around the temple. Okay, so that is what is very special here. How did it become? We will see a story for that shortly. This is what is a mangrove forest. Okay, very special way of people have become one with Lord Shiva here. They want to remember Lord Shiva in their everyday life. You know how they do that? Like how we say hi, hello, namaste, ram ram. You know how they greet each other? They say Tiruchitrambalam, Shiva Chidambaram. So when I greet you saying Tiruchitrambalam, what should you say back? You should say Shiva Chidambaram. When I say Shiva Chidambaram, what should you say? Tiruchitrambalam. Okay? Shall we try that? Yeah? Tiruchitrambalam. You don't unmute yourself. You just say it and I can see you. I'm looking at all of you. Okay? Tiruchitrambalam. Shiva Chidambaram. You know, when they pick the phone, okay, all the Chidambaram Vasis, what do you say when you pick up the phone? You say, hi, hello, or hello, who is it? So when they pick up the phone, they'll say, Tiruchitrambalam. And the other person will start by saying Shiva Chidambaram, and they will continue the conversation. See, in their day-to-day conversation, they are keeping Lord Shiva's thoughts alive. They are not going away from Lord Shiva's thoughts, right? Very interesting, right? So a lot of Nayanmars have come. I've told you who the Nayanmars are. They are the 63 devotees, very ardent devotees of Lord Shiva, whom Lord Shiva has played with, you know. He's tested them, he's done pranks on them, but still their bhakti has been very, very strong for him. So such Shiva Bhaktas have come to this temple and they have taken Nataraja's darshan. Okay. And this is a very interesting thing. The very first day, one of you asked me this question and I asked you to wait for the Chidambaram session. So this is the map of India. If you see some of the major Shiva temples, it all lies along one longitude. Longitude as in one line across, like perpendicular to the equator. You see the Kedarnath temple, the Kaleshwaram temple, Sri Kalahasti. Look at all of that. 7907 degrees east, 79.9 degrees east, 79.7 degrees east. And Tiruvannamalai is 79.07, Chidambaram is 79.69, and Rameshwaram is 79.31. How is everything aligned around this 79 degrees? And let me tell you one more thing. All this are not built by one person. All this were built by different emperors, different kings over different points in time. And it was not like within the same century, everything was built. One was built 1 century ago. Century as in more than 100 years ago, centuries ago. So how did they know to align it along one longitude? It is still a wonder. And these are not like small temples, okay? Each one has great Sthala Purana and is very, very ancient spot. It's huge temples. You know about Tiruvannamalai, you learnt about it, you learnt about Sri Kalahasti. These are all huge temples, not small ones. How did they have that vision? So while building a temple, it is not just because I have a lot of money, I want to show off that I am a great Shiva Bhakta. That is not how they think. There is a divine calling for them. There is a vision. There is a way they are thinking about building a temple. So we should be very, very appreciative of our ancient ancestors, how they have done all of this. Okay. So whoever's joined late, no problem. Just listen along. Okay. Yeah. So this is actually the Google locations that I have taken. And then I have marked this. So this is a wonder that you have in India. Okay. Now let's go into the story. How did the Thillai mangroves, I told you Thillai Vanam, how did they become this famous temple? So what happened? So long ago, this Thillai Vanam was occupied by a set of sages. Okay, and these sages were black magicians. Like they believed that black magic can give them the power, so much power that they can influence anything. They can become the greatest, even greater than God. They don't need, so you just have to listen to stories. You don't have to look at the presentation, okay? Just listen. Just stop typing and just listen, right? Okay. So these sages were doing very severe, rigorous penance, okay? And they will do homas and yajnas and all of that, but they believed only in black magic. They thought they can become greater than God by just doing black magic. And this style of prayer isn't going to get you anywhere. It's not going to make you a spiritual person, a devoted person, or it will only feed your ego. What is ego? You thinking that I am the best and nobody can be as best as I am. Is that a good attitude to have? What do you think? Yes? No, right? So this was the attitude that can build by being a black magician. So what happened? Lord Shiva himself felt concerned and he thought, let me come and teach them how to do a prayer. What is the kind of attitude that a prayer deserves? So Lord Shiva took an avatar as a Bhikshandavar. So Bhikshatanar or Bhikshandavar is like a mendicant who goes around, asks for alms, you know. He didn't come with his matted locks and his trishula and his snake and all that. He didn't come like Lord Shiva. So obviously, still Lord Shiva has one aura, one attractive look about himself, right? So he was a Bhikshandavar. He came to the Darukavana and he spoke to these people saying, there are better ways to do prayers and this is not the best way. And all of them were so full of themselves that they thought they were better than anybody else. So for learning, what is the bare minimum? You should surrender yourself. You should want to learn, right? If I say, hey, I know everything, then what will happen? You cannot learn. So they were like that, saying, you are after all a mendicant, you are after all coming like a beggar, you are trying to teach us, you know who we are? We've been doing this for so many years and we know everything. You go away. So they turned deaf ears to him. They shooed him away. And Lord Shiva did not lose his smile. He went on to their houses, okay, where their wives lived. So he went there, and you know who came with Lord Shiva? It was Mohini. Lord Vishnu's female form, which was Mohini, as Shivagami. Okay, so Shivagami and Nataraja walked through, and they went to the ladies of the houses. And these ladies were so mesmerized by Lord Shiva's aura and his looks. And they were thinking there is a divine spark in this person. I want to listen to this person. And they started listening to him in a very devoted way. And then on hearing their wives starting to chant, what will these people think? All these sages, the black magicians were furious and they felt insulted and they thought, we will show this guy who we are. How can he go to our wives and attract them and turn them away from us? Then what is the respect we get? So they started doing a particular homa from which came a lot of snakes, poisonous snakes. They directed the poisonous snakes at the Bhikshandavar. And this Bhikshandavar never lost a smile, and he took the snakes and adorned himself, like from his hair, on his neck, on his hands. So you will see, right, whenever you see Lord Nataraja, you cannot see Lord Nataraja without snakes, right? It will be snakes all over his body. So he adorned himself with snakes, and these are poisonous snakes, and all of them are calm over his body. And these sages were taken aback and they didn't know what to do. And they said, okay, now let me show who we are. You know, let us show who we are. We will do one more. And they conjured, they put all the magic mantras together, and they conjured out of the fire one tiger, Puli. Okay, and that tiger was considered to be more fierce than any other tiger because it is a magic tiger. And that came out and pounced on the Lord. And that is when effortlessly the Lord peeled its skin and wore it as his cloth. And all of them were like shocked. What? This has never happened to us before. Our magic has never failed. And they still did not recognize it was the Lord, because they kept failing and still they did not recognize it was the Lord, somebody who is more powerful than them. They could not recognize that there could be anybody more powerful than them. Next came the last conjuring spirit, and they put all their powers together and they sent one demon. This demon was full of ignorance and arrogance. All their arrogance put in, and a demon was made. So he is named Muyalagan in Tamil and Apasmara in Sanskrit. And this Muyalagan was shown the Bhikshatara Murti and he had to go and attack. So when he went to attack, seamlessly, smoothly, Lord Shiva just pushed him down. Not just that, he stood atop, on top of that Muyalagan and he started dancing. Can you believe that? See, if there is an action scene, you can understand if there is fight. But here there is no fight also. Muyalagan was just defeated. And Lord Shiva is dancing over Muyalagan. And when he started dancing, there were sages from everywhere. They came and they saw and they recognized it was Lord Shiva. Finally, these sages also recognized, oh, it is Lord Shiva himself, and he is, out of his compassion for us, he's come to save us from our own ego. So they finally, how do you become egoless? By only surrendering. So they surrendered their ego, they surrendered their pride and said, you are greater, you are the greatest. So all our, whatever we did till now, please forgive us. And they fell at his feet, and everybody got darshan and they all got moksha that night. So this is the story that happened in that particular place, and because of that, this Darukavana became very famous, and that spot became the Chidambaram temple later. Okay, if you have some questions, hold on to them. You can ask those questions towards the end of the session. Okay, I'll wait for the questions. So now, who all came to meet Lord Shiva in Darukavana? So it was not like anybody and everybody, but they earned their way to see Lord Shiva's dance. And two of the most important sages who were there that day were Yagrapada and Patanjali. These two are rishis, munivars, who have been doing tapas for a very long time. So what is their story? Quickly, let us go into their story. Okay, Yagrapada was a sage who was born to another sage. It was Muni Madhyandina. So Madhyandina was actually born in the north of India, but he had the yearning that he wanted his son to be a great Shiva Bhakta. And so was it. And to him was born Yagrapada. And Yagrapada, you know the meaning of the word Yagrapada? Yagra means tiger. Pada means feet. Tiger footed. Can you see in that picture also he has tiger feet? So there is a story to it. So he comes when he was a young kid itself, he started seeking for Lord Shiva. He started asking, where is Lord Shiva? Where would he be? How can I meet him? How can I reach him? So he was directed by his father and he came down south. And when he saw this Chidambaram Tillai hill, the hill was full of trees and mangrove forest was there and all of that. And it was a very dense place. Yet he decided to wait for Lord Shiva's darshan. He wanted to see Lord Shiva. And every day he will go to the top of the hill and do puja to the Shiva Linga that was there. Okay. So with what will he do puja? With fresh lilies or lotuses that were there in the pond nearby. But he wanted to do this first thing in the morning. But when the light comes, you know what? When sunlight comes, these lilies will open. These lotuses or lilies will open. And immediately when they open, what will go inside? The bee will go inside. And the bee will start taking the nectar, right? So can you give Lord something that is already eaten by somebody else? No. You want to give it fresh. So Vyagrapada decided, I want to take those lilies even before the bees come and taste the nectar. So how can he go into the pond? Is it so easy? And is it easy to pick it just at dawn? Because you can't even see properly. So that is why he did tapas. And when Lord Shiva came, Lord Shiva revealed himself in the mind and asked for anything. You know what Yagrapada asked for? He said, give me tiger feet and tiger eyes. Huh? Why? Because I want to do puja to you. I want to do the first dawn puja to you, first thing in the morning. So even before bees come, tiger eyes will glint in the dark. Have you ever seen that? Tiger eyes. So the eyes, if it is dark also, it will be fluorescent color. It will be so tigers can see through the dark. So he wanted to see through the dark and pick the lily flowers, and also he wanted to go up the hill fast, because the hill will have so many thorns, so many shrubs and stones and pebbles. So with human feet, you can go only at a certain pace. But here he wanted to go very fast. So he asked for tiger feet. So he asked for things that can help him do greater prayers to the Lord. He didn't ask for easy wishes. He asked for a tough wish. And he got this also. So his name became Yagrapada. And he has been waiting to see Lord's Ananda Tandavam for so long. Ananda Tandavam is the dance of Lord Shiva. Okay. And then Patanjali. Who is Patanjali? He is a form of Adisesha. Do you know who is Adisesha? Adisesha is the snake bed of Lord Vishnu. Okay, the snake bed that has so suddenly once what happened, Lord Vishnu was smiling when he was lying down on Adisesha, and Adisesha felt suddenly Lord Vishnu was becoming heavier and heavier, and he immediately asked, what happened? How come you are more heavy today? And Lord Vishnu said, probably because I am holding Lord Shiva also in my thoughts today. I am seeing his beautiful dance, and it was like this and like that. And he started explaining the scene of the dance of Lord Shiva. So Adisesha felt so tempted that he also wanted to see the dance. Okay, the Tandav. So suppose I'm saying there's a chocolate cake, and when I take the piece, there is gooey chocolate, and how it. So if I keep saying about the chocolate cake, won't you want to try the chocolate cake? Won't you say, hey, I also want to taste it, right? So like that, when Lord Vishnu was explaining about this, he also felt, Patanjali also felt, hey, Adisesha also felt, hey, I also want to try, see Lord Shiva's dance. So that is when Vishnu said, you take avatar on this world, and on a particular day, in a particular place, Lord Shiva is going to take avatar and he's going to dance there. So he was born as Patanjali to Rishi Atri and Anusuya Devi, and he wanted to watch Lord Nataraja's dance because he listened to Lord Vishnu's words, and he became one of the greatest scholars actually. Patanjali's Sutra you must have heard of. So he was the one who composed the Yoga Sutras. He wrote extensively on Sanskrit grammar. So all of that, Patanjali's contribution to the scriptures, all that. So if you see the representation of Patanjali, he will look like half snake because he is a form of Adisesha, to show that. So even Yagrapada and Patanjali were there at the Darukavana when he danced, when Lord Shiva danced as Nataraja. So they also got their darshan on that day. So this cosmic dance of Nataraja is very, very special. So what is so special about it? Why? Because you see, he has one hand here and one hand across like this, and he has two hands holding the fire and the damaru. And there is a circle of fire that is around him, and at the bottom of his feet, and crushing that demon, he is dancing on top of the demon, and that demon is Apaswara. What does this symbolize? What does it say? So basically, if you see the damaru is where the first nada or sound came out of. So all languages, all the words, it is said, came out of Lord Shiva's damaru. So in fact, there is a Maheshwara Sutrani is actually a shloka. You might be knowing, because you are learning Sanskrit, you might be knowing Maheshwara Sutrani. Yes, that came out of Lord Shiva's Damaru. So Damaru is the source of sound, source of creation. So it represents creation. On the other hand, he has the fire. What does that represent? It represents destruction. So there is creation in one hand, destruction in one hand. So that means life and death, life and death, life and death. So that circle is going around it. And why circle? Can you say this is the start point and that is the end point at the circle? Can you ever see this picture? Look at this picture and tell me, is there a start point and end point to the circle? No, there cannot be. So that is what it represents. It is a circle. It keeps going on and on and on. So what will come and hurt you in the circle is the demon of ignorance, apasmara, the demon of arrogance. Because we become very arrogant, that takes us away from God. So what happens? How do we win over apasmara? We will see. Okay. So let's go into the meaning of this place called Chidambaram. Okay. So it is called Chit plus Ambaram. Okay. Chidambaram. So Chit means consciousness. What is consciousness? It is like saying, I am so and so. I like this. I am awake. I am wearing this dress. I love this. I hate this. So we keep saying I am. So we are conscious of ourselves. Similarly, a cat is conscious that it is alive. Similarly, flowering plant, it is conscious that it is a plant. So this consciousness is the same in every one of us, just like space. Okay, space is the same, like that. The consciousness is the same. And what is its quality? It is expansive, just like space. Ambaram, sky. I told you there is no start and end to sky, correct? Like that, Ambaram, like that, the consciousness is there. So this place is called Chidambaram. Chit plus Ambaram. So this temple, interestingly, has 3 forms of Lord Shiva. This is the most interesting one, okay? The Chidambaram Ragasyam is coming up. So please focus. So the form of Lord Shiva here is as Nataraja. Yeah, we saw Nataraja. We saw that he has hands like this. He has the fire and the damaru. So that is the form of Nataraja. He has eyes, nose. He has a complete form, correct? And the next one is a semi-form, which is the Linga form. So does the Linga have eyes, nose, hands, legs, hair? Doesn't have all that. But it represents, symbolically represents Lord Shiva. So here he is in the form of Chandramaulishwara, a Spatika Linga or a crystal Linga. Okay. So like that he is worshipped in this temple. Okay. The next one is the most interesting one. And that is Akasha Linga. What is it? Formless. So this is how space is worshipped. So there will be a long line because this is the main deity of the temple. If you have gone to Chidambaram Koil, you will know there will be a long line for this Sannidhi. Okay, but there will be a dark curtain. So you are walking in the long line, and when the curtain opens, do you know what you will see? You will see nothing. When the curtain opens, there should be some deity there, no? But there will be no deity, no murti. There will be nothing. There will only be a garland of Vilva. Vilva is the very special leaf of Lord Shiva. There will be a mala of golden Vilva leaves. Only a mala. Usually, where do you put a mala? On somebody's neck, right? But here there is only mala. So those who don't know the Chidambara Ragasyam, they will think, hey, where is God? There is nothing here. Why did I stand in line? But here you should remember, we are praying to space. Can you see space? Can you smell space? Can you listen to space? Can you touch space? Yes? No. So here space is being worshipped. So there is only a mala there, and you are thanking space for holding you for so long, for holding the earth wherever it is, for holding all the planets wherever they are. So we are thanking space. Okay. So that is the Akasha Linga. So this is the Chidambara Ragasyam. If you know it is space that you are worshipping, then you know the Ragasyam. You know the secret. Chidambaram's secret. If you don't know there is space, you will be thinking, oh, there is nothing. What am I worshipping? So you will think, oh, it is empty. That means you don't know the Ragasim. Now, do you know the Ragasim or not? Do you know the secret or not? You know it, right? Okay, right. So let's go on to the symbolic form of Nataraja. You can see that there is one more meaning to the word Chitrambalam. So Citra means small. Ambalam means stage. So Chitrambalam or Chidambaram is small stage. Such a huge temple it is, and we are calling it small space. What does it mean? Is there a bigger stage? What do you think is the bigger stage? Any answers? Yeah? Chat box is open. Which is the bigger stage? Space, okay? Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is the dancer. So the dancer is dancing on a stage. So Chidambaram is called small stage. What do you think is the bigger stage? Yes, the whole universe is the bigger stage. Yeah. So there is a rhythm to this cosmos or to this universe, right? Because if there is no rhythm, if there is no pattern, then what will happen? Every now and then, every planet can dash with each other, clash with each other. The stars can start, swallowing the planets around them. So there will be destruction and construction all the time, right? So there is a rhythm. When, a rhythm to the moon's movement, the earth's movement, the sun's movement. So that rhythm is maintained in the cosmos. That is the larger stage. That is the larger dance we are talking about. So this larger dance we are talking about is purely astrophysics. It's science. Okay, so this rhythmic movement of Lord Nataraja, this dance, is seen in the size of the atom and also in the size of the universe. Okay, that is why the Nataraja is extra special. And I already told you the cycle of creation and destruction. So Damaru is for creation, fire is for dissolution or destruction. Now I told you, how do we escape this apasmara, this demon of ignorance? Lord Nataraja shows you a shortcut. Do you want to know the shortcut? You have to see his hand. How does his hand look? One hand is like this and one hand is hanging like this, correct? There is a raised hand, there is a hanging hand. Can you see where this hanging hand is pointing? It is pointing to the toe, the big toe of his foot, correct? So that is called the Kunchita Padam. So he says, I will take care of you as long as you surrender. You look at that feet and surrender, I will take care of you. So he is pointing here and saying, don't worry, I'm there for you. Okay? So all you need to do is surrender. Surrender as in what? Not always be full of ourselves, saying, I know everything, I know this, I know that. Even in prayer, if we think, I can chant better than the others, look at me and chant loudly, that is not the prayer. That is not what it is meant for, correct? So even in prayer, if there has to be no ego, we have to make that ego come down everywhere, right? That can happen only when you surrender to God, dedicate every action to God, correct? So that is what Nataraja shows here with his hand gestures. In fact, one of the biggest and very renowned scientific research centers of the world is called CERN, and they got a gift from India. In fact, they requested for a gigantic Nataraja idol. So this Nataraja idol is placed outside CERN. There is one more Nataraja idol which is placed inside CERN, where they conduct the experiments. So they are the ones. This is a plaque that is outside CERN, which says, this plaque says that he represents the life force. His dance represents the movement of atoms in a molecule. So in a smallest of small pieces, that is the molecule, there will be atoms that are moving, right? So even in that, there is a movement, a rhythm, and his dance represents that rhythm, which is there in the macro level in the form of the universe, and also in the micro level in the form of an atom. So that is what This is actually the words written here is taken out of a plaque written by the CER. This is not my own words. Okay. So this is like Carl Sagan's words, right? So that is why he's called the cosmic dancer. So it's not just in our temples, but it's also in the scientific world that they believe in Lord Nataraja's powers. And this temple itself is a brilliant construction. It's not just about the power of Lord Nataraja, but the way it has been constructed. It has a lot of parallels to the human body. So the temple has 9 gateways, just like we have 9 openings in the body. Then there are 5 major halls. These are called sabai. Okay? Chit sabai, Kanaka sabai, Nritya sabai, Raja sabai, and Deva sabai. And Chit sabai is the one which has a ponnambalam. Ponnambalam means pon means gold. Ambalam means sky. We just saw Ambalam means sky. So gold sky. What does that mean? It has a golden cover on top. Okay, that is what that is the Sannidhi that holds the Sannidhi of Lord Nataraja and Shivagami Devi. And you will see that this is the center of the temple. Okay, but it is not placed in the center. It is slightly kept to the left. Okay, this Sannidhi is slightly to the left. That is from the entrance, if you see, you can't directly see it because it is slightly to the left. Did that mean they did not know straight lines? They knew straight lines like the longitude, 79 degrees, they were able to align it. How can they keep it to the left? That is because it's like the heart. Do you know that the heart is not in the center and it's slightly to the left? Yeah. Just like the human heart. So the ancient Indians who built this knew where the heart was in the body, knew how the heart had to be, where it be bet and where it was, correct? So that is how they placed the Sannidhi. Very interesting, right? So it has 5 flights of stairs and it has the words Shiva, Nama, the Panchakshara, and when you go into the Sannidhi, you cannot go directly into the Sannidhi. Many of the temples, you just move in, right? Here, you cannot go directly. You can enter by the side and exit by the side. You will move in the queue in a straight way, but while entering, you go through the side. Why is it? Because, the arteries and veins to the heart, they don't go direct. They go from one side, they come out from the other side, right? So representing that, we are also going into this temple from one side on the side and coming out like that. So we are not going directly. So imagine they knew the functioning of a heart and they made the temple like this. So another very, very interesting thing. Yeah. So this is called the Ponnambalam or Chitsabai. Now a quick question to you. Okay. I'm going to take 1 minute now. The session is going to overrun by 10 minutes because we started a little late. Okay, I'm asking you for some time now. Chitsabai or Ponnambalam. This is a very interesting thing. Now I'm going to give you half a minute. Count the number of breaths that you take. And you cannot breathe fast. Not like that. Relaxed, normal breathing. Don't make it too long. Don't make it too short. Okay? Start. Okay, stop. Now chat across to me. How many breaths did you take in half a minute? So multiply it and tell me see, breaths is not like breathe in, you count, breathe out, you count. Breathe in and breathe out together is one. Like, is one. Okay. How many breaths in half a minute? That means how many breaths in 1 minute? On average. Yeah, 10, 6, 18. 18 means it must be 9. Okay. Yeah, 20, 24. This is in a minute, not in half a minute. Okay. So you should only count one inhale and exhale together. So let me tell you why we are doing this exercise. Okay. the ancient Indians knew on an average how many breaths an individual takes. So this particular roof of the temple is made out of 21,600 gold sheets, each one inscribed with Shivaya Namah. Okay, so how did they come at this number 21,600? It's the number of breaths taken by a human being every day. Why? Because the average is taken as 15. If you had taken some 6 or 7 breaths, normal breaths in half a minute, that means it is around 14 breaths or 15 breaths in a minute. Okay, so 15 in a minute. How many minutes in an hour? Into 60 minutes in an hour. How many hours in a day? Into 24 hours in a day. So 15 into 60 into 24 makes it 21,600. How did they know all of this? So they built the Chidambaram, the Ponnambalam, basically, with all of this. So the Vimanam used 72,000 gold nails, okay, which means it's the number of nadis that are there. Nadis meaning nerves that are there in the human body. Again, there are lots of numbers. The roof is supported by 28 pillars and 28 agamas are there for Lord Shiva. So agamas are shastras, okay? So 64 beams, that is the 64 kalas or the art forms that he represents. So like that, there are various different numbers and it's all numerologically, like the numbers just come and sit in place, okay? So now about the Karanas, we saw that Lord Shiva was a dancer, right? So Karanas are transitional movements from one pose to another. When you're moving, that is called a Karana. So when you're entering the Chidambaram temple, on both sides of the entrance vial, you will see the Karanas, 108 Karanas of Lord Shiva in different poses. Can you see all that here? These have been themes for many dance dramas, many poetries, texts from the ancient times till now. Okay, people have done extensive research on all this and they have got doctorates on all this. So these are called the Karanas that you should know about when you're visiting Chidambaram. Okay, don't miss the Karanas in the beginning, in the doorway. And there is a story to it also. So it is said that Kali Devi, Chidambaram Kali, okay, Tillai Kali actually she's called. So Tillai Kali has a temple on the outskirts of Chidambaram temple even today. So Chidambaram doesn't have just one temple, okay? It has a multiple sets of temples and a lot of smaller temples around and each one has grand stories, Sthala Puranas behind it. So one such Sthala Purana here is that she was actually the guardian deity of Chidambaram, the Tillai Kali. But when Nataraja came to reside in that place, Tillai Kali challenged him saying, I am the residing deity, so let's have a dance off. So both of them started performing steps and both of them were beating each other to showing off how they can, do very different, very challenging steps. And finally, Lord Shiva is said to have raised his leg like this and having his hand like this and very difficult pose. And Kali, she finally, maybe she could have done it, but then there is a reason to why Lord Shiva is there, right? So Kali finally said, okay, I don't want to compete anymore and I give you my space and you can go in and have your sthala here. And with Kali's permission, Lord Shiva took over Chidambaram. So that is the story there. Okay. So it was Kali's choice to allow Lord Shiva to go in. Okay. So there are multiple devotees of Lord Shiva, Tirunavukarasar, who is also called Appar, Sundarar, whose story we saw during Ekambareshwarar in the beginning, Tirunjana Sambandar, who drank milk from Mother Parvati, Parvati Devi, and Lord Shiva were like parents to him. They all have visited this temple. They have sung praises about this temple. And Manika Vasagar is extra special in this temple, Karaikal Ammayar also, because Karaikal Ammayar, she is also one of the Nayanmars. She was such a beautiful lady. She was into normal, married life and all of that, but she was very devoted to Lord Shiva. At one point in time, she said, okay, I don't want this beauty and form and anymore. I want to become old. so that nobody bothers me. I can always be your devotee. And immediately it was granted to her. So such was Lord Shiva's, rapport with Karikalamaya. And one more interesting thing is that she prayed, when she came to Chidambaram, she prayed that forever Lord Nataraja should dance whenever she sings. Whenever she sings with the, you call it jalra, the chincha, when she sings with that, Lord Shiva will dance. That is the idea, that is the belief. And Manika Vasakar has a very special connect to Chidambaram. So he is said to be the composer of a very important piece on Lord Shiva, which is called Tiruvasagam. So Tiruvasagam, so Manika Vasakar was actually, he was a well-settled, very well-earning minister of the state. Okay. But he was a very righteous guy and all of that. But he felt something is missing in his life for a very long time. And he was missing a guru. So each one of these sages, right? Each one of these Nayanmars connected to Lord Shiva in a very different way. Like Tirunavakarasar was like a father to Lord Shiva. Sundarar was like a friend. Tirunyana Sambandar was like a son to Lord Shiva. Manika Vasakar was like a student. And the student seeking the guru. So finally, once when he was going through one of the cities, he saw just a form of somebody like a mendicant sitting under the tree. But immediately everybody saw that mendicant, but they did not realize it was Lord Shiva. But to Manika Vasakar, it immediately occurred. He dropped all his wealth, possession, everything that he had, and became a student to Lord Shiva. And within seconds, he learned from Lord Shiva everything that he had to. And when he went from place to place, he sang a lot of glorious hymns for Lord Shiva. Now, Lord Shiva himself thought Manika Vasakar's words have to be written down and documented. Otherwise, people will not know. Otherwise, people will forget. Right? Such great divine words are coming through him. So somebody has to record it. Who can record? I myself could record. So what Lord Shiva does is, once he dresses up like a pandit and he comes to the Chidambaram temple, and Manika Vasakar is one corner of Chidambaram temple, just forgetting himself, singing of Lord Shiva. And that is when he comes as a pandit and says, do you remember all the hymns that you have composed on Lord Shiva? Can you please repeat it to me? And I will note it down. And he closes his eyes and he doesn't have to recollect and all. It just flows from him. And Lord Shiva writes it down. Quickly, when he opens his eyes, when Manika Vasakar opens his eyes, nobody is there. So he was thinking, what is this very strange? Somebody was here noting it down and nobody is there now. And next day morning, when all the priests of the temple were opening the temple Sannidhi, they saw Ole Chuvadi or manuscripts where the title was given as Tiruvasagam and dictated by Manika Vasakar and written by the Lord of Tillai with the stamp of the temple. So this was like, everybody became very curious. What is this? And they called Manika Vasakar and said, are these your words? And Manika Vasakar said, yes. There was a pandit noting it down. Then when he saw dictated by Lord of Tillai, he understood who wrote it down. And when everybody said, who wrote it? And Manika Vasakar took them into the Sannidhi and said, I will show you. And he opened the Sannidhi. There he dropped his body and became one with Lord Shiva in Chidambaram. So this is a very unique incident that happened to Manika Vasakar, and Tiruvasagam was accepted, because back then to accept somebody's writing on Lord Shiva was very difficult. But yet it happened here. Okay. So we are running a little out of time, so I'm going to skip Nandanar's story. But Nandanar is another beautiful story of a devotee, that is one of the Nayanmars who wanted to go and meet Lord Shiva in Chidambaram, and what all he had to undergo, and Lord Shiva himself helped Nandanar to come and meet him. So this is a very interesting story, but we are skipping it because of lack of time. If we have time towards the end, I will tell you that story. Okay, so Arudra Darshanam is a very famous festival, and that's the Ardra Darshanam or Arudra Darshanam. That is the day when, on the Tiruvadirai Nakshatram day, it is a full moon night in the Margazhi month, and that is very special to Lord Shiva. All the temples of Lord Shiva have exotic festivals, and Lord Shiva comes out in the Ter. that is the temple chariot, to meet all his devotees. Till then, the devotees come to see the Lord, right? Now the Lord comes out to meet his devotees. So it's a very interesting prasadam. It's called Tiruvadarai Kali. It's a very simple prasadam, but that is considered very important to be offered on this particular day. So why is it so? Another story is there. I'm afraid not much time, but let me try to say the story. So there was a devotee called Sendanar. So Sendanar was an accountant of Pattinatha. So Pattinatha was a great devotee of Lord Shiva. He renounced everything. He was a businessman. He made a lot of money, but he renounced everything and walked away. And he gave it all to his accountant, Sendanar. Sendanar distributed all the wealth correctly. And after that, he came to Chidambaram to settle down there. Now he had nothing to live out of, correct? And his job is also gone. So he became a woodcutter. So he will go into the forest, take wood. He will sell that wood. Whatever money comes, with that money, he will feed at least one Shiva devotee every day. So it happened that during the rainy season, the wood becomes wet, right? So he cannot sell it for the same price. So he did not have any money to buy something and feed someone. But on a fine rainy day, there was somebody who came to his house. He was a Shiva devotee. Now he had to feed. He had nothing, no rice, no pulses, no parupu, nothing is there at home. So finally he found some rice grains, okay, which he powdered and a little bit of jaggery he added, and that became the kali. Okay, and he gave that as an offering to this Shiva devotee who was a yatri. He was a traveler. So he ate it and he loved it. And he said, can I have some more? Can I take it along with me? And immediately Sendanar packed it for him, gave it to him. And this devotee of Lord Shiva went through. Actually, this is not a devotee of Lord Shiva, but it was Lord Shiva himself who came to test. So next day is Ardhra Darshanam. So his temple chariot had to move. Everybody is pulling the chariot. And at one point in time, the chariot stops. And there they see that there are crumbles of this wheat. I mean, this rice and jaggery. So they are thinking, what is this? This prasadam is not even offered in this temple, but there are, we cleaned everything and still in the night somebody has put this. And they followed it and they saw that the crumbles go all the way to the Sannidhi. So who is that who ate it? This Lord Shiva, right? So now the temple chariot is not moving. And finally they heard a voice saying, if Sendanar does not sing praises for me, I will not move, because I am ever grateful to the dish he gave. And then they found Sendanar, they brought him, and Sendanar sang Tirupallandu, and then the chariot moved. So in his memory, Tiruvadarai Kali is eaten till date on the Ardhra Darshanam day. If you want to know more about Ardhra Darshanam and all these stories, you can watch a video of Gurucoolfun in YouTube, which is Ardhra Darshanam. It's called Ardhra Darshanam. You can go and watch. Interestingly, we'll finish with this. Interestingly, Chidambaram has a set of priests who were brought here by Rishi Patanjali himself. Okay, so they were 3,000 in number. They are called Chidambaram Podu Dikshitas. Okay, so these people have been managing this temple from time immemorial, from the early times till date. Okay, so these are Vaidika Brahmanas brought from Kailash by Patanjali Muni specifically for this particular temple, and they are called Tillai Moovayirar. That means 3,000 from Tillai. So it is said that now currently they are not 3,000. There are only 360 of them, 360 families. So these, like when they get married, they get a particular share of the temple. They become a shareholder of the temple. So it's like my own temple and I take care of it. So that is why till now the Chidambaram temple flourishes. Okay, so these married Dikshitas, once they get married, they get the right to perform the rituals inside the temple and they get a share of the temple revenue. But they use it again. This is considered to be world's first democracy. You know why? Because any decision that is taken together. So there is a vote, there is an election for everything that is taken together. Decision is taken together. It's not like one person decides and everybody listens. It's like together they take a decision. That is why the Podu Dikshitars are such reasonable people, and they run the temple one. And the picture that you see here is the Podu Dikshitars have a very special konda. Can you see that the tuft is in the front and on the side? It's very unique. Nowhere else in Tamil Nadu you will see something like that. So the Podu Dikshitars are not from here. They are brought from somewhere else, it is said. And these people, can you see that they are welcoming Tirunjana Sambandar here? So like that, in 4 temple corridors, that is the 4 temple entrances, you will see them holding the Purna Kumbham and welcoming the 4, the Nalvar it is called. Yeah, Appar, Sundarar, Manikya Vasagar, Tirunjana Sambandar. So the 4 of them are there on 4 gates. Okay, so yes, before we end today, the stay rooted challenge, I was announcing in the beginning, the stay rooted challenge, there was day 3, there's day 4, and today it's day 5. If you haven't participated at all, no problem. Today we will be sending the links again. Whatever you can participate in, if you can, okay, we are going to announce special prizes for the best entries. The best entries as in how much effort you have put into it. That is what we are going to calculate it based on. So this is for day 3, learn more about your land, and day 4, which we saw last week, right? About your culture. And day 5, that is today's challenge, is learn about great people from your place, native to your land. So some personalities, have you ever seen stamps? And on stamps, there are great people's pictures. So these are stamps which are released by Government of India. So who are the personalities from your state or your native land who have been featured on stamps? And are there freedom fighters from, suppose you are from Bangalore. So from that region, are there freedom fighters? What did they do for India's freedom? And the third important thing is popular poets. Have they written any native text? For example, Kumar, from Tamil Nadu, Tiruvalluvar from Tamil Nadu. So like that, who is it from Telangana? Who is from Andhra? So wherever you are from, are there popular poets and some interesting work from them? Suppose Bharatiyar, you should be able to say at least 2 lines of what Bharatiyar wrote, right? So something like that about the great people of your land. Okay, these are the things to be found. So whatever it is, if you're participating, your participation matters a lot. Okay, and the links to all 5 assignments will be given to you again. So if you haven't already participated, you can participate now. So that is how we have special prize announcements tomorrow, and there are other surprises also we have intact for you tomorrow. Before we finish, I request Vasudha ji, can you please unmute yourself? And after that, I will wait back for questions, okay?
Yes. Namaste, Ram Ram. So tomorrow we are having our last valedictory function of this Stories Behind Temples course. And there are many chief guests waiting to see you all and talk to you and grace the event tomorrow. So I request all of you to please join the session at the same time during the class hours. It will be through same link. Kindly join and please be part of the session. As Radha Vakini said, you'll have many surprises awaiting tomorrow. So please don't miss the class. Last class, we shall all meet and enjoy the session. And yeah, hoping to see you all tomorrow.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have also shared the links for assignment in the chat as well, and I will also be emailing you all so you can submit before 3 o'clock tomorrow. The deadline is till 3 p.m. tomorrow. Yes. Please do submit and wait for the surprise. Yes.
Yes. So by 3 p.m. tomorrow, if we will look at all your answers and then we will choose the best ones. You can attempt 1 assignment, 2 assignments, 5 assignments. It doesn't matter. How many ever entries you want to give, you can give. But your deadline is 3 p.m. Okay. And suppose you say, I attended 3 days, I didn't attend 2 days, it's okay. The assignment page, if you go to, it will itself have what the assignment is. So whether you attended the program or not, you can still attempt the assignment. Okay, that's how it has been designed. So it doesn't matter. Okay. So, and tomorrow you can also share your feedback of what wowed you over these 5 temples, 5 places we went to. What was wow to you? And what was something new that you learned? And next time you go to the temple, you look out for it. So what is that and what is this? So these kind of questions will be put to you tomorrow. So you can also interact with us. You can tell us your experience. Okay. You will be given time for that as well. And we will take questions also in case you have some question and you forgot to ask it earlier. We will have time for answering questions also tomorrow. Okay. Now I am opening the floor for some questions. Yes. Unmute. Bloxy and which group? Yes.
No,
What are your names?
Me and Mahida are together in the same place.
Okay, tell me. Tell me, what's your question?
We have some questions.
Is there a question?
Yes, ma'am. So many.
Yeah,
When
please.
is the date when the Lord Shiva dances in the Lord Nataraja form, ma'am?
So date, it's actually Ardra Darshanam is the name of the festival. Okay. So it's the full moon night which comes in Margari. The full moon night that comes in Margari is Ardra Darshanam. Okay. So there is a video, the link I will send it across to you. There is a video where you can go and find out all details about Ardra Darshanam. All the stories are also there. Okay. 1 second. I'm sharing that with you.
Form of CERN.
Just a second. I'm going to share that. Right. I'm just sharing it in chat box. So those of you who want to see it later, please go and see it. Okay. That's the video. Yes, Pranav, Bhargava.
We have some more questions.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead. Ask me a question.
5 more.
Okay, quickly shoot out all the questions and I'll answer them.
Ma'am, does Yagrapada and Patanjali friends like snake and tiger?
What was the question? Yagrapada and?
Patanjali as friends or not?
Yeah. They knew each other because Yagrapada was the first to come to that hill and stay. And Patanjali later came and joined him. So Yagrapada's ashram is where Patanjali also stayed till the Ardra Darshanam happened. Okay? Yes. Next.
What is the full form of CERN?
Couldn't hear you.
The spelling of C, I mean, the full form of CERN.
CERN. Okay, I think Central. Wait, let me look it up for you. Oh, it's a European, it's a French name. Okay, so it means European Council for Nuclear Research. Okay, I'm gonna put it in chat box, the full form. See if you can read it. Yeah, that's right, Arav. That's the name.
European.
What's your next question? Yeah, what's your next question?
The next question: What were the snakes doing when the tiger was trying to attack in the sages?
Good question. Good question. It's all partly symbolic. Okay, so snakes are considered to be slithery and kind of negative. Okay, but even the negative emotions were adorned, they adorned Lord Shiva. So it's more of a symbolic, the symbolism that we have to take away there. It's not like the snake and the tiger fighting each other, not exactly that, but it is the symbolism there. Okay, it's more of a metaphor where snakes, which are negative and slithery attitudes of ours, when we direct it to the Lord actually wears them. He is not affected by all that. And if you see throughout the process, Nataraja wouldn't have lost his smile. So amidst all chaos, still his smile is on. So that is something that, again, symbolically we take away. Yeah. Next one.
Ma'am, do Nataraj form as a snakes, ma'am?
Is the Nataraj, can you say that again?
Ma'am, do Nataraj form as snakes?
Nataraj form has snakes? Yes.
Yes, ma'am. That's
Yes, yes. Even his hair, if you see, in some sculptures, it will be full of snakes.
ma'am,
Okay,
can I
like-
share my screen?
I don't think they have allowed for that. What is it about? Tell me.
I can see the snakes in the picture.
He has snakes, no? The whole story has snakes all over, right? So it is about, if you see Lord Vishnu, what adorns Lord Vishnu? It is, all ornaments and all of that. But if you see Lord Shiva, what adorns Lord Shiva? It will be a completely different set of things, right? So that is the difference between the Lord. So if you want a rustic God, go for Lord Shiva. If you want a more decorative God, go for Lord Vishnu. So it's more like that. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Was the
Patanjali and
tiger,
Yagrapada get moksha after seeing them. Yes.
was
Yes,
the
all of
tiger
them got moksha.
alive after peeling its skin?
No. So again, look at it symbolically. Okay. So when we have in English, we have a sentence saying, he skinned him alive. It does not mean he went and peeled the skin out of that guy. Okay. He skinned him alive. The words, it's an idiom. It means he kind of roasted that guy. He made him fail. Okay. So that is what it means. So it's more symbolic. Somebody who's coming with full of pride, he skinned him alive. Like, he just took off that pride from that person. That's what it means. Okay. Don't take it literally. Every story is not to be taken literally. Okay. Yeah.
He has a question. Ma'am, after the sages created a demon and sent him to Lord Shiva to destroy the Lord Shiva, do demon alive when Lord Shiva is dancing on demon, or he did not alive? Died. He died.
So he defeats Apasmara. That's what is told. Okay. He defeats Apasmara, not necessarily kills him. Okay. It's more like defeat. So what does that mean? Apasmara means arrogance and ignorance. So the defeater of ignorance is what? Can only be knowledge. So the opposite of ignorance is knowledge. So Lord Shiva represents knowledge there, where the ignorance has been defeated and the knowledge is dancing over ignorance. That is again symbolism. Okay. So don't look at him as a demon killing and all that. We have to go into symbolism, because as we grow, as we ask these questions, there should be more meaning to it that we can take into our lives, right? Otherwise, it will just be mere fancy tales, right? So that's why I'm telling you all this, right?
And we can feel the air space when we wave our hands very speedily.
You will feel air, not space. Correct? You will feel air only, no? Not space. Air is moving because of space, but you can't feel space. You can only feel air.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay?
Thank you. Ram.
Right.
Bye.
Lovely. Ram.
Ram.
Please come back tomorrow, okay? Bhargava, Pranav, please, you can unmute yourself, ask me question, whatever it is.
Yes, ma'am. Had a doubt like Mami said like they had counted how many breeds one person can make in one day. Ma'am,
Yes.
so how did they know multiplication at that time? They didn't invent multiplication. At that
Oh
time.
God, they knew much more than multiplication. They knew square roots. They knew binomials. Multiplication is basic. The kind of mathematics that they knew, for example, in Rig Veda, they talk about doing the different havans, correct? So each of these havans, they say square havan, kund, a semicircular Havan Kund, a circular Havan Kund, and a triangular Havan Kund. Okay. Each of these should have equal area. How will you know the area? From a circle to a square, if you have to go, don't you have to know square root there? So they use square roots. So what is it about multiplication? They knew square roots. They knew area, how to find the area of a triangle, how to find the area of a square, circle, semicircle. They knew all of that.
Ma'am, so at that time itself they invented maths and other things.
Yeah, I'm talking about Rig Veda, which is much, much ancient, on which all this is based on. Rig Veda was one of the first, I mean, not one of the, it was the first ever written manuscript found in any civilization.
Yes.
Not just Indian, any civilization. First ever written manuscript that has survived is Rig Veda.
Okay.
And in Rig Veda, this is there.
Oh.
So you can see the knowledge of the Indians, especially in the mathematical fields, scientific fields. Okay, good question.
Okay.
Thank you. Yes, Pranav, go ahead.
Between Nataraja and Akashinga.
Can you repeat that?
And what is the difference between Nataraja and Akashinga?
Yeah. So Nataraja, you can see his eyes, his nose, his mouth, his hands are like this. His leg is lifted. You can see all of that. Correct? Yes or no? You can see all of that? Just shake your head that you do. Yes? Okay. Now, what is Akasha Linga? Akasha is space. Akasha Linga is space form of Lord Shiva. Can you see space? Can you say space is round in shape with a square bottom? Can you say like that? It has no particular shape. So it is formless. Space Linga is formless. Nataraja has a form. So that is the difference. Okay? But both are forms of Lord Shiva. Is that okay, Pranav? Do you have any other question? Yes.
Ma'am, but why do we only do puja to Akashinga?
We do puja to Nataraja also. That's why I said there are 3 forms of Lord Shiva in this temple. One is full form, one is semi-form, and one is no form. And all 3 are considered equally important. It's not like, oh, because Nataraja has a particular shape, he is more important than that linga. It's not like that. All 3 are equally important. So that is the beauty of Hinduism. We adore and worship everything. We don't say, oh, this is greater and that is not so great. We never say that. Okay? Did you get your answer, Pranav? Yes? Lovely. So if you don't have any other question, we will close for the day. But tomorrow I'll meet you with your assignments, with announcements, with some interesting feedback that you want to give me. Yeah? Ram Ram, everybody. Thank you so much for joining in. Namaste, Ram Ram.